AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.
Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Bleav.
Doesn't matter if you're an Indian or if you're a Warhawk.
The ULM mention is the greatest. You'd hope for the best as a ULM fan, but
this is Bleav in the Warhawks podcast with hosts Dusty Thibodeaux and Chase Regian.
Chase, you always have such great insight.
Tibbs is going to bleep it all.
What are these guys always talking about?
We talk a lot about food on this podcast, and I'm going to continue to do so.
Really, really appreciative of the people and the community and the way that they've backed us up.
Nailed the introduction, by the way. Awesome.
Thanks,
I love
Fish.
it.
Chase, I broke the panic button.
We're ULM fans, dude. You should have a metal panic button by now.
It's bronzed.
Yeah, it's got a bunch of patina on it. Yeah, 100%.
We went from a beautiful opening drive that we're used to seeing at ULM. It was like a 7.5 minute drive, 12 plays, 75 yards, touchdown. Landon Graves just cooking, getting his shot as the third string quarterback. To what the hell happened, Chase?
I couldn't tell you what the hell. I mean, it just fell apart again. I would say fell apart. First half, I felt decent about it. I know you go down, you go in down, but second drive, even you go down to what, the 13, the 20, something like that. You go deep into the red zone, and they're a really good red zone defense, and their corners are fantastic players. And I felt like really in the first half, Graves looked good. Graves looked like kind of an answer that we've been looking for and kind of some production that we've been looking for on this offense. And Zach Palmer-Smith, great. I mean, he had a great game, 111 yards on the ground. But I don't know. I mean, past that, that first quarter, again, we looked like a strong first quarter team. I say again, we looked like a strong first quarter team a few weeks ago. And that's been hit or miss this year. But, man, it just got away. You knew they were good. You knew they had 4 stud receivers. You knew they've got a good to decent running back. And you've got probably the Sun Belt MVP there in quarterback. But I don't know about you, but I felt fine at the first half.
Yeah, and the second half, and really it was a 3-play swing that really made this as lopsided of a score as it was. That starts off with the fumbled punt return that I have no idea what the hell happened there. And it speaks volumes, though, that even on that punt, it took them 2 downs to get it punched into the end zone because the defense was kind of standing tall on that. Then you had back-to-back interceptions that led to touchdowns there. Those 21 points, that's your real difference of the game right there. Because if not, I mean, Southern Miss still wins, but it's a 28-21 game, and I think we're having a completely different conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. But I want to say that even those 2 interceptions, they weren't Aiden Armenta interceptions. They weren't crazy heaves down the field, poor decisions. They were trying to fit it into tight windows. Okay, the first one wasn't great. It was a short throw that to a wide open receiver. Sure, I'll get that. But at least you kind of understood he had pressure on him. He was rolling out. He had pressure on his right arm, so that's why it was short throw. That's why it was a short throw. And the second one was just great covered and a great play by the DB. It was a little, you're talking a foot or 2 behind him, and that's what got it. But then that game, you're right. I mean, you do that and it blows that wide open. You have, special teams really hurt again today. The kicker on the PAT didn't look terrible. Unfortunately, the second kick wasn't really. That's not really what you want there on that field goal attempt.
We're getting there. I mean, I feel like there's just so many pieces. I mean, coming into this game, we had 33 players listed on the availability report. and among them was Aiden Armenta, Hunter Herring. So really, you knew that it was going to be Landon Graves getting some significant snaps. You were hoping that the Aiden Armenta was maybe a little gamesmanship of, yeah, he's kind of questionable, his hangnail's kind of killing him. But no, he was actually out, and Landon Graves took a lot of snaps with the ones this week to really come in there. But, I'd be okay rolling with Landon Graves. Is that your guy that you want in there week in, week out? Probably not, because I feel like he is still kind of learning the game as a redshirt freshman or sophomore. But he's getting there, right? I mean, it's the same thing we kind of said about Aiden Armenta, that he was really learning the speed of the college game last season. I think Landon's in the same boat. I think he'll only get better as we start looking forward to Old Dominion, getting a bye, and then South Alabama to keep getting better and try to conduct the orchestra a little bit better every game for this offense.
Yeah, I think I really love the way that Landon played today. Now, awful second half. I mean, he's going to be pretty upset about that. And, he what looked like was going to be a great game, he was then tasked with trying to come from behind on an offense that really isn't built to do that, and had to make some throws, but really made some great, under pressure, throwing, got some great big third downs, which is something we have not had in our pocket. If we were 3rd and 6, I think our conversion rates were just probably one of the worst in FBS. And you saw that kind of spark. I really liked the game plan. I really liked the offensive play calling. There were a few operational issues, but I know I hammer on those every week, but I really didn't feel like they were as severe this week or maybe as plentiful. And maybe that's from simplifying the offense with Landon in there, but maybe that's something you look at doing in the future with Aiden, if Aiden's your guy. But I really was impressed, especially early on with Landon. He looked like a young quarterback that could be good. And I think you got to allow him some grace to grow. And I think if you're Brian Vincent, you got to start asking a question of do we see a little bit more of him as we move forward?
How great would that be? That he's going to one-up Barry Ball with the 2 quarterbacks. We're going 3 in the backfield, baby.
I think that's honestly, I know that that's probably out of jest from you, but I think obviously Hunter listed as a quarterback, sure, but I love the way that they used Hunter early on last week and in multiple settings. He was wearing 2 gloves, he threw the touchdown, but continue to use him like that. And then if you have, I don't know if I necessarily would run a 2 quarterback, because when Barry did that, he had a left-handed and a righty. And so I think you give him some shots every now and then. Give him some drives. If Aiden's throwing, if we have 4 turnovers in a row, which this week we had 3, you do that again, throw the kid in there, see if he can create a little spark, because he seems to be a little bit more accurate than Aiden. I don't necessarily think that he controls the offense as much, but I don't know if that's what you need right now. I think you need accuracy. I think you need a little bit of a simplified offense from what you've been trying to do all year.
49-21, 4th straight loss there for the Warhawks, though. They're not out of contention yet. That's only the 5th loss on the season. You got to hit 7 before you're really out of the running, as we saw for Georgia State this week. But, Chase, I'll tell you one thing I really liked today in this game against Southern Miss. 8 of 15 on 3rd downs. That's something that we haven't seen, where the offense has really been able to move the sticks consistently on 3rd down. And then defensively, Southern Miss was only 5 of 11. Yeah. Typically, we've seen where we've held them on those first 2 downs, and then 3rd down has been their down to really convert and go from there.
Absolutely. I think that's great. I think obviously the 4th down conversions are brutal to look at here. But, emphasizing 3rd down was something that's needed to happen, really heavily over the last few weeks. And so I think they started to move forward. Now, you're real late in the season to start fixing these things. But like you said, you're not out of it. You might be out of the Sun Belt West race, but you're not out of bowl contention. Getting 6 wins would be such a massive thing. I think 5 has got to be, I think you asked this question 30 podcasts ago, Tibbs, was, is 5 and 7 a bad year? But at this point, I'm like, man, 5 and 7 would feel like he put some things together and got through it. You got South out. Yeah, Old Dominion's a very good football club, and they're 5-3, and it's going to be a tall task, but it's their first time coming to Monroe, and you see a lot of teams really struggle with that. And then you got South Al, right? South Al looks terrible. South Al just looks like, they lost Gio Lopez and they're just in a bad spot. And so, you still have a chance here. I mean, this is not over. You need to get healthy. You need to get healthy quick, and you need to kind of figure out, hey, is this the kid we run forward with? I mean, he only threw for 100-something yards a day, but it did look like a completely different offense as when he was at the helm.
No doubt. Another big thing, I know that everyone's going to see the 49 points and say that it was a defensive struggle. I don't think that was the case. And it was really big to see Cavante Wells, Billy Pullen combine for a sack there. Hadn't been able to say those names in a while, as well as Noah Fleming at the linebacker position, able to get a sack. Perkins McAllister with another one. I felt like the defense played pretty good. There's only maybe a small handful of plays that I can say, man, that was some busted coverage or just bad defense overall. But for the most part, I feel like the defense bent a lot, but didn't necessarily break. I mean, what are you going to do when you have that fumbled punt, though, and it's at the 2-yard line?
Right.
There's not many defenses going to keep them out of the end zone.
No, I think I 100% agree that this is another game in a row. This is 2 games in a row now of the score doesn't necessarily reflect how that game went and how that defense looked. And I mean, they're giving short fields a lot. And, statistically, they have, opposing teams, if you're giving them on the 50, if you're giving them within your own, 50 in, they have a really good chance to score. And unfortunately, it just comes back to, I hate this because it's just proven you right all year, that it comes back to special teams. I mean, special teams, it was a blunder of a play by Diarco Perkins McAllister. I'd love to know, obviously wasn't a skill guy, so never was in that kind of position. I guess he found himself under it. It looked to me like he had plenty of time to run away from it or do something, and he felt like he had to try to catch it, and then slips, and it's wet out there, and you're not a returner, and it's a tough thing at a pivotal time in that game where ULM finally had a little bit of momentum. You just got a big 3-and-out from him, I believe, is what that was after. So it's just tough to, it's just, if it could go wrong again, it did. But thankfully, we didn't have 30 people injured in this game.
No, we didn't have 30 people on the roster to get injured, though, Chase. Am I wrong for saying that, though?
No. I mean, Tibbs, we're on our 5th kicker. We've sent out, emails to the student body here at this point. And it's not you're not in a good spot, and it's something that really has to be addressed in the offseason this year.
And everyone thought I was crazy that my thing that I used to do at every stadium I visited was kick a PAT at different places. Everyone thought I was crazy, but I was really just staying loose, staying ready to go.
You never know. You still got some eligibility left.
I doubt that. We had leather helmets back in my day. Looking around the Sun Belt Conference, as we mentioned, South Alabama holds on to hope for their season with a Thursday night win over Georgia State, 38-31. That was an ugly game, but I will say this. I'm glad that we don't have to face Georgia State because Ted Hurst is that guy when it comes to receivers.
I agree, but it was a toilet bowl of games.
Old Dominion, they squeak out the 24-21 win over App State. Made it interesting. And, it's a big game. Oh, go ahead, Chase.
I was just going to say that I know App led in that game at some point, and it really became a burner.
Yeah. And, Colton Joseph, the quarterback there for Old Dominion, 305 yards, 3 touchdowns. More importantly, though, Chase, this game is going to be their 6th win, or they're going for their 6th win at ULM. But as you said, coming to Malone, coming to the Bayou, it's always a tough place. We saw that last year with James Madison. We've seen that time and time again where schools just kind of discount that it's Monroe, but there's something about the stadium. Maybe the Chief starts rearing his ugly head against the opposing teams their first visit there.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't, it's a hard place to play. It's a hard place to travel to. It's it's a lot of people think it's a lot of ULM fans think it's the worst stadium in FBS. I can promise you it's not, but it is a very tough visitors locker room to visit and try to, get comfortable in. The place does not let you get comfortable. And I think that's a really great part about being, playing at ULM is not having to travel there as an opposing team. So I'm going to assume that they will struggle there in Malone.
Chase, you look back at this game. Do you have a player of the game, a guy that you felt kind of shined in this game?
Oh, man. Probably Zach Palmer-Smith. He looked quick. He looked powerful. I really think the offensive line did a decent job today. To a team that damn near leads FBS in sacks, I think they really did a fine job protecting Landon. And I really was impressed with the way that they were able to move the ball on the ground and move the ball methodically. And, yeah, I would probably give it to Zach Palmer-Smith. 111 on the ground on a game like this on 11 carries. I mean, that's, 10 yards carry is pretty damn good day at the office.
No doubt. I'm going to give it to the guy, even though, kind of losing effort there. But Landon Graves, to me, a pretty solid debut of 12 of 26, 103 yards and a touchdown. Yes, the 2 picks, but I felt like he was also still on the positive on the rushing side, 7 carries for 24 yards. I think that it's a glimpse of what we have if that's what we have to roll with going forward.
Yeah, you got to be excited about it. As a ULM fan, OCS product there on the field, everybody complains about no local talent. And so see him and Hunter in there would be pretty cool.
Well, and now that we have a local product, it'll be a sellout game next week there, Chase.
Yeah, okay, it'll be a sellout south end zone. That's about it.
Chase, where do we go from here? I know that we have Old Dominion coming up. They're a team 5-3 currently in the standing. One of the best quarterbacks in the league there, Colton Joseph. What are you looking at in this film to try to adjust and get ready for that game on Saturday?
You're still looking at penalties, 11 penalties again today. You are still looking at operations. You got to look at what went right, both offensively and defensively. You've got to figure out how. I mean, this is arguably the best team in the Sun Belt, right? And I mean, them and James Madison, I assume, are going to go to the conference championship. So I think you have to take the good out of what you did here, because you knew it was a tall task going to their place and trying to beat them. But you found some successes in your offense. You found some rhythm. Try to hammer on what gave you the rhythm there. Try to figure out the key players. I think your receivers played much better than what they have in the past few weeks, and really impressed with the way that they found those holes and found that separation, which they've really struggled with this year. And defensively, I think you keep the pressure up. I think you continue to throw multiple blitzes. I think you move D'Arco Perkins-McAllister around from safety to star to corner to edge rusher. I think you kind of continue to confuse offenses and just implement blitzes that don't make a lot of sense, because I think that's where you're at. I think you've got to create pressure. You're not going to get a lot of coverage sacks, so you've got to get a lot of pressure off the line. And I think that's how you got to do it. And you're banged up on defense, right? And so you've got to just continue to mix some things up. I really love the way Ernest Hill called the day. And in Tibbs, I don't think you can fix special teams at this point. I really don't. I hate to say it's a lost cause, but again, you're on your third walk-on kicker, and you've just got to find a way to – you got to have a 4th and 6 play from now on. I mean, you can't – I don't care if you're on your own 10. You've got it at this point. You've got to go for it.
You thought I was crazy when I said special teams wins games, Chase.
I don't think special teams wins games. I think it just loses them.
I'll agree to disagree with you there, Chase.
We can agree that they're important. because I did poo-poo that for a long time.
We're a week away from basketball. Looking forward to us tipping off in the Sunbelt MAC Challenge. That'll be a week from Monday. Man, I'm excited.
I'm excited for basketball. Absolutely.
Crossover season's always the best because you get the best of both worlds. If you have a bad football game, maybe women's basketball picks you up, or men's basketball, picks you up because women didn't have a good game. I love it because you get more and more opportunities. Now, it's really bad if they all three start sucking and you're just like, what are we doing here?
You start feeling like a failed athletic department, but I'm with you. I love crossover season as a podcaster, not as a radio guy. I mean, Mike Hammett's got to fly across the country like 3 times a week, but I know he loves it. But I love just being able to just support your team and kind of take that. There's a different atmosphere from football game to a basketball game, but both of them have their own special place in my heart, and so I love it. I mean, isn't it effed up to say though, Tibbs? Because we have been in crossover season with soccer, and they're kicking ass right now.
They are, but man, let me tell you this: they had a draw at Georgia Southern on Friday night. That draw hurt probably worse than a loss because you only had the 1 point. You now only have 1 game left, but South Alabama, who's on your heels, has 2 matches remaining that you really got to pull against the Jags to try to get up there. And then it's a mathematical game of, we could finish anywhere from splitting outright or as low as a 4 seed in soccer tournament.
Wild. And I know Texas State's leading them right now, right? Leading the Sun Belt.
I think so. At least on the western side or on the overall.
They needed to lose, and I mean, good for them, dude. It'd be cool. It'd be cool to be a soccer school.
Yeah,
soccer and
we have look. We haven't lost in the Sun Belt yet. I mean, knock on wood. There, we've had a bunch of draws, and I think that's really the difference. There is that we've put up only the 1 point instead of the 3. Right. One better than none, of course, but
sure,
that's where we are.
Very cool, man. I think it'll be it felt encouraging in an odd way this week in football, and I'm really excited to see what both new basketball coaches do. I hope I'm not just drinking Kool-Aid. I really love the way Scotty Fletcher's built this team, and I'm really excited to see the way that they operate.
No doubt. And I think that Phil Cunningham, I don't think they win the league. I'm sorry, Coach. But I definitely think that they're a lot better than what we think they are going in.
Yeah, well, that'd be great because I saw some rankings and man, they aren't super high on them. Although we know that doesn't mean much. Do we have any returning starters? I don't think so. So, you got a brand new team, and sometimes years like this one can really help you out. Being kind of mysterious. Hopefully catching people sleeping.
Look forward to it. It's going to be a big week of content there, Chase. And as always, we'll do it again soon.
See you next time.
AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.